Go after your goal, and don't let anything stop you. Don't let anything stand in your way.
My thought of Canadian dream is to just have money that you don't have to depend on your job from day to day.
Well, you know, you're never going to get rich working for someone else. You have to have people working for you, or you have to have investments working for you, one or the other.
And there'll be much more security for the people in Canada, and that we won't have to rely just on the government. We can create our own wealth and set our own goals and just go for it.
Well, I figure by the time I reach the age of 65, there isn't going to be any more money left in that government bucket.
The fastest way to get rich in Canada is to win one of the big lotteries. Failing that, however, investment in real estate is probably your best bet.
My main dream is to be financially independent. That's my goal in life.
Why is it that some Canadians are able to almost effortlessly become masters of their own destiny and become financially independent, while others, no less talented or bright, seem to work out their lives in a predictable routine, doing the same thing every day from 9 to 5 with no guarantee of financial security? Do you realize right now in Canada, 20% of the households in this country, that's 1 out of every 5 homes, controls 40% or almost half of the income earned by Canadians last year? That amounted to $91 billion. Are you making part of that? And if not, why not?
If you look at situations creatively, if you don't have the negative boundaries in your mind, then you'll see opportunities. They're always out there. So you grab an opportunity and you make it successful. And one of the most important points that I'd like to emphasize is don't wait. Do it now.
Welcome to Financial Independence in Canada. I'm your host, Richard Comar, and for the next 60 minutes, we are going to get the inside view from money and investment experts. People much like you and me who have succeeded, sometimes beyond their wildest hopes, and have discovered how to achieve every Canadian's dream of financial freedom. Our experts on the program today are Rick Weberg, a financial analyst and president of his own Toronto-based company that started on a shoestring a year ago and now boasts billings of $125 million. We have 3 Canadian real estate experts, including Alan Silverstein, the man they call the mortgage magician, Stanley Rose, author of the best-selling Real Estate Buying and Selling Guide. And also with us is Norman Dean, lecturer, seminar leader, author, and an advocate of equity sharing. Mary Kay Ash, founder and chairman of Mary Kay Cosmetics. Also joining us is Ed Beckley, author, lecturer, and an expert on buying real estate with no down payment. The kind of success we're talking about is happening all around us. It's not some distant vision that only happens to someone else. It's something that can happen to you tomorrow and stay with you for the rest of the decade and well into the next century. Does your future seem like a distant shore too far away to be concerned about right now? Dr. Richard Buskirk doesn't think so.
A lot of people don't realize that 1990 is going to roll around tomorrow. It's going to be the year 2000 before you know it. It's going to be 2020. What are you going to be doing in 2020? Have you ever given any thought to that? Well, what you're going to be doing in 2020 depends upon what you do today.
Do it now. There's always opportunities going by. You just have to have an open mind and get rid of those negative boundaries. People will always tell you, you can't do it. Oh, you can't do it. There's always so many failures. You look around and you see them. But don't be one of those failures. Just have that attitude inside yourself that I want to be successful. And that will bring success.
We often hear that the world around us is changing, but few people take the time to tell us that we can change right along with it. Norman Dean says the biggest reason people don't is fear. Fear of failure and fear of the unknown. Overcoming that fear is the first step to financial freedom.
Fear is overcome by knowledge, and not knowledge alone. You have to have working knowledge. How do you apply the knowledge? Because unless they go for the application of knowledge, they will have a fear factor. And I always tell them this: fear leads to indecision. Indecision will lead to procrastination, and procrastination ultimately will lead to failure.
Mary Kay Ash started her company with only $5,000, a few products, and a grand dream. Now over 200,000 women are part of the Mary Kay Cosmetics family.
One of my strongest reasons for starting Mary Kay Cosmetics was my determination to give other women the opportunity I felt I had always been denied. I wanted to give women the opportunity to go as far as their abilities could take them, to be the very best they could be. I wanted to give women a chance to realize that they're wonderful and special, and that they can succeed beyond their wildest dreams if they were just given the opportunity. So many of you have accomplished so much. So what was once my dream has now become a wonderful reality.
If you don't know where you're going, you're never going to get there. So you have to know pretty much what it is that you really want deep down in your heart. What is it that you want? What is your goal? Then, after you have set the goal, sometimes it seems almost unattainable because it's maybe so far away or so far up that ladder of success. But somebody said you can eat an elephant one bite at a time.
We are living in a rapidly changing society. Now, what does that mean? For some, it means that unless we take charge of our own lives now, it might soon be too late. You see, there are serious concerns about a large and growing federal deficit. Recently, there have been concerns about the banking system. And there are some who feel that the government and private pension plans will be unable to provide us with the retirement we're expecting. So, we must ask ourselves, what will we do to guarantee our financial future? It's becoming clear that the surest and safest path to the future is through our own financial independence. And surprisingly, as you will soon hear, it might also be the easiest path to follow. There's a wind of change sweeping across this country. Let's find out where it's leading us.
If you go out and look for what people need and just connect them, then you'll find that provides a tremendous service to people. So basically, we begin to connect people, play the role of the broker, and also to look for finances, look for venture capital for people. And over the weeks and the months, we were very, very successful. We'd find a project that we liked, that we felt had a good opportunity, that was worthwhile. The people involved in it were astute businessmen and had that entrepreneurial feeling to them. And we went out and we found the capital for them. Today, we've found over about $125 million in financing and venture capital for people for various projects.
Oh, my goodness. Opportunities are all over the place. Last night we heard a man who had been gone to the top in Dow Chemical, and now he's in telecommunications in a long-distance company. And he said, well, you remember that movie, The Graduate, where the uncle said one word to Dustin, plastics? Well, he said that was true at the time they made that. Plastics was the great industry of the company. He said if that movie was shot today, the word would be telecommunications.
And about 150 years ago, we shifted from being an agricultural society to being an industrial society. And now we're shifting from an industrial society to an information society. And the changes that shift are bringing about now and will continue to bring about, they're exciting, they're dramatic, and they're also filled with limitless opportunity.
An information society with limitless opportunities? Well, what does that mean? Where are the opportunities? Well, we know that nearly 2/3 of this country's economic activity is in what economists call the service sector. And that includes communications and computers, it includes many personal businesses, and it includes real estate. And the more you talk to financial experts, the more it becomes apparent that real estate is a basic cornerstone to your financial security. It's been estimated that 90% of self-made millionaires in this country have made their fortunes through real estate.
I believe the best way to realize financial success in the shortest possible time is through real estate. Buying, improving, and selling real estate. It's a sure asset, it's a hard asset, it's something that you can feel, you can enjoy. It's something that has had a track record that has been unrivaled by any other investment.
There are only two areas that I feel comfortable about in the stock market. One is brand new issues where you know the supply-demand factor is positive and that it will open at a premium. And the second is starting a small company and taking it public. You can create wealth faster in the stock market through going public than you can any other way. But the average person can't do that. The average person is not going to go out and start a company and take it public. Therefore, I think that the safest way for the average person to invest today is in real estate.
I've been an electrician for about 15 years now. And our first property we bought it in the early 70s. And we made $5,000 profit on it in a very short period of time. And we just took that money and we were going to make lots of it. So we went into a brokerage house and I convinced Claire to let me buy stocks and commodities even. And things just got really out of hand and I started losing my hair and my hair was turning gray and I got so scared I just took my money out of there and went back to real estate. And that's where the money is, that's my vehicle. And nine months ago, in February 1985, we took a nothing down course on how to buy real estate. And we purchased $450,000 worth of real estate since then. And we've got nothing down, mind you. And also I managed to put money in my pocket, about $7,000.
I believe real estate is the best way for the average Canadian to get rich today. Not too long ago, my wife and I purchased a fourplex with no money down. And shortly after that, about a month after closing, with some creative financing techniques, we were able to put $11,000 in our pocket and still own that fourplex, and we still own it today, and it's continuing to accumulate capital for us.
One of the things that I would say not to forget about is diversification. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. We've heard this before, but it's true. You don't just focus on one area and make that a single boundary. Look at all kinds of things, stocks, bonds, real estate. In particular, real estate, I find, has been a very good investment. You ask any man after 40 years, 50 years, what's his best investment? Generally, he'll say it's his home, real estate. Excellent investment.
Real estate is probably one of the surest ways to wealth. It can't be used as a vehicle for fast wealth. Real estate is a slow way, a sure way. You buy real estate when you're 21, and when you're 65, you have all the wealth. But it's slow, it's not fast, it has to build up by time. You're either going to rent it, or you're going to equity share it, or you're going to live in it yourself. And the great majority of people today who have wealth at their reclining years or their golden years, it's because they bought several pieces of property. I don't know how many people have come up to me in my last few years and have said to me, if I didn't have this piece of property or that piece of property, had I not bought this house or bought that piece of property, I would not have the level of affluence I had today. I would have to have reduced my standard of living to retire. And because of my real estate, I didn't have to do that.
I was 10 years ago left alone with 2 small children after years of being married and having lots of security. And I had no training, no education, no work experience, nothing. I was almost 40 years old and I was terrified. I had no idea where to begin. I went through a series of very bad jobs, having my own business, and at the end of it, I was in exactly the same spot as I was before. No money, just nothing. And moreover, every time I talked to one of my friends who was in business, years later, they still had no money. So I knew there had to be another way. And I saw a TV program one day about real estate, and I realized that the only money I'd ever made in my life anytime was through real estate. So I took a couple of courses, and it just changed my life. I, in 2 years, went from having an R9 credit rating, which is, I don't know if you know, it's the worst you can have. Having no money, I was on UIC, I had nothing. A couple of years later, 2 years later, less than 2 years later, I own a beautiful home in Ladner and a rental property that I have a positive cash flow on.
We'll be right back with more strategies for success on financial independence in Canada.
In your lifetime, odds are you'll work 80,000 hours, making someone else rich. And when it comes time to retire, 95 out of 100 of you and your neighbors will have less than $500 in your pockets. Ed Beckley believes it's time for you to stop working for somebody else's dreams and make your own come true. He did it. You can too. Starting as a school teacher making only $8,700 a year and with no credit, Ed made $2 million in less than 3 years by investing in real estate with no money down. You can do it too. Don't waste another day wishing you had money. Get this course, Ed's best-selling Millionaire Maker No Down Payment Home Study course. In this simple yet powerful course, you will receive over 15 hours of Ed on audio cassette, talking directly to you while revealing all of his money-making secrets. Then Ed will take you step by step through his attractively bound 200-page instruction manual. The enclosed charts, checklists, and nothing down offer forms will teach you 120 formulas to easily and systematically create real estate riches, showing you over 100 ways to buy real estate without cash, credit, or even a job. You'll learn how to make up to $500,000 buying foreclosures in the next 3 years, buy property using 10 different ways that put cash in your pocket, buy a house for $1, make $3,000 per month within 90 days following the course, eliminate management problems forever, and much, much more. But wait, that isn't all. You will also receive Ed's best-selling book, No Down Payment Formulas. And there's more. Ed's latest book, 125 Irresistible Purchase Offers. This easy-to-use book gives you a sample purchase offer to close virtually any deal. All this comes complete with Ed's unique 6-month money-back guarantee. That's right, you heard me, a 6-month money-back guarantee. Don't miss this special television offer. Thousands of people have paid over $600 for these money-making secrets.
It can be yours for only $395.
And if you order right now and use your credit card, you'll not only save COD charges, but you'll also receive this exclusive bonus absolutely free Ed's Equity Participation Workbook, covering the nuts and bolts of one of the most powerful home buying techniques of the 80s. It features 4 equity sharing arrangements: the KISS agreement, the co-tenancy agreement, the lease option agreement, and the agreement of home partnership. This workbook cost over $8,000 in attorney fees to develop, but it's yours absolutely free if you order now. Don't miss this opportunity of a lifetime. Call now.
To order, call free, 1-800-526-8000, extension 8120. That's 1-800-526-8000, extension 8120. All major credit cards and CODs accepted, or send your check or money order to Beckley Business Seminar, Station A, Post Office Box 9980, Department 102, Toronto, Ontario, M5W2J2. That's Station A, Post Office Box 9980, Department 102, Toronto, Ontario.
Investing is in real estate, it isn't a get-rich-quick process. It takes time, and we have lots of time on our sides, plus we have inflation. And right now, we have $750,000 in property right now. And at 4% inflation, that's giving us $30,000 a year increase. And we're pretty excited about that. Imagine if it was 8 or 9 or 10%. I mean, it would go up that much more. I mean, we're just sitting with inflation. Why fight inflation? People put money in savings account, and they buy savings bonds, and they just look, inflation is just eating it all up on them. And Canadians are realizing this now. They take their money out of these bank accounts and put it into real estate, and they're getting returns of 50, 75% or more. And this is where Canadians are going to be investing in the future.
We know all about the success stories that these types of investments have produced in recent years. But what we rarely hear about is how these successes came about. What's the process? Where and how do you start?
I got started out of frustration. I'd been told by a real estate agent there was no way I'd ever be able to own a home unless I went and borrowed it from somebody. And I remember after he told me that, I walked outside that day and I stood out there quietly and I said to myself, I'm tired of this. I'm tired of living like this. I'm going to make a change starting right now. And when I share with people all across the country, until you get to the point where you say, I've had it, I've got to make a change, nothing will change until you make a change.
I think that the hardest part of of getting there is getting started. If you're going to become successful, if you're going to become financially independent, you've got to make a commitment to yourself, and then you've got to go for it.
Go to the experts. Learn exactly what they do to become wealthy.
I happen to believe that for you high school kids, you are going to have a better lifestyle than your parents had. But if you accept this popular wisdom that you won't, then it's going to happen for you. You won't have as good a lifestyle.
Where I was raised, everybody was poor, and I didn't want to be poor. I didn't want to be the same as anybody else. So to be different, you kind of color outside the lines, and so I had to do that.
But that someday was never going to come until I took control of it, and I made it happen. Nobody's going to help you but you.
Well, the difference between success and failure, I think, is just simply extraordinary determination. Many people start out, but at the first sign of rejection, they quit. And you can't do that. You have to get up and start again and again and again. I often say we fail forward to success. And I've often said to our people that if the knees are ever examined in these rooms, you're probably going to find that mine are the bloodiest, because I have fallen down so many times. But I always got up and tried again. And I think this is terribly important, that we fail forward to success. Nobody, the first time you try anything, does it right. First cake you ever baked was probably terrible. Come to think of it, the last one I baked was pretty terrible too.
How to win. And you learn how to win. It's not innate. I have seen people, in class, I give names and examples of people that I know were winners at one time. They learned to be losers by an unfortunate experience, and then came back and we made them winners again. And I've seen losers be developed into winners. So winning is something you learn to do.
To choose poverty instead of prosperity, to choose failure instead of success, to choose low achievement instead of top of the ladder achievement, all for the sake of saying, I'm humble and I'm not materialistic, isn't smart. It's downright dumb. We become part of the problem instead of part of the solution.
We try to train our people where they don't lose their bait, they keep their money, and they get back into the game. They're all successful, it's just a matter of time. So you don't succeed in the first, second, or third venture. Look at it as your postgraduate education. I often say that to the MBA class, you'd be better off if you take your tuition money, go out and lose it in the business. You'll learn more. It's a learning experience, but it's so terrible. You're preached in from a little kid, oh, it's terrible to fail. You don't want to be a failure. Appearance is everything. And nothing could be worse than not getting A's. Get an F in class, that's horrible, and you get spanked. And failure's horrible. The only thing horrible is not to try.
It's nothing hard about it, just have to have some information. This information is available. But the thing is that most people have a fear. They have a fear of buying. They have a fear of buying and selling and holding. And the biggest fear that they have is the reason they don't know how to buy is because they don't know how to finance property. Most people don't know how to borrow money. They don't know how to structure a loan. They don't know how to talk to a lender. They don't know how to ask for the type of loan they're looking for. So the problem is the fear factor. And once you overcome the fear factor, you can get into the same arena these developers can. Every one of these developers, not just this one or that one, but great majority of these people. How about your large syndicators? These people go out and they raise millions of dollars. Every syndicator in town started with one syndication, the first one. How many dollars did they raise the first time? 10,000? 100,000? Who knows? But they raise $100 million now as easy as some people can raise $50,000. They buy the skyscraper while this person over here buys the 4 units. No difference. It's still with some other person's money or other people's money.
What makes real estate such an inviting investment opportunity for many so-called average people?
Tax benefits of owning real estate in Canada are quite numerous. One of the first ones that jumps out is the appreciation and the sheltering of the appreciation as the real estate grows in price. You don't have to pay the tax on it until such time as the real estate is sold. Number two, in the renting of the property, you have capital cost allowance, which will shelter the year-to-year income as you go along. Number three, real estate will never go away anywhere and can be used as leverage on additional acquisitions or for accumulating certain amounts of money for whatever benefit you want to use it for.
I like real estate as an investment because it provides you with income, you can get tax shelter, you build equity. In fact, you can make money by owning real estate 24 hours a day. You also get appreciation and leverage, the ability to acquire vast amounts of property for little or none of your own money. In fact, real estate has 2 very important qualities I really like. It not only gives you the power to acquire vast amounts of property and build it into a fortune in a relatively short period of time, but it also has stability. Do you know that 82 out of the last 86 years, the single-family home has gone up in value? I don't think any other investment can compete with it.
I think all you'd have to do is watch the nightly news to get an idea of the state of the world right now. And with the problems that we have, there's no question in my mind that investment in real estate in North America is about the best location for opportunity and to achieve financial independence.
We're buying existing property, or even going better than that, we're getting developers to build us buildings, and we're buying their entire projects. And for instance, I'll mention one, downtown Ottawa. We bought a 26-floor, 132-unit condominium apartment building. It has a swimming pool, it has a whirlpool, courts and everything, and we bought it in 3 days, a whole group. And we bought it in June, and it hasn't even broken ground yet. But the recent appraisal on it, every unit's gone up by $7,000. And these units are giving us $25,000 in income tax write-offs apiece.
There's no doubt that some people, certainly several of our experts on this program, have become millionaires by investing in real estate. But is it possible that an average person can simply start buying and selling properties with little or no money? Well, here's what our experts say.
Probably one of the biggest myths that exists in the marketplace today is the fact that, say, people can't buy property with no cash and no credit and creative ideas. Well, let's just put it in a sense that I think everybody can understand. Number one, there's nothing new about this. This has been done for many, many years by many people. Let's just change places with the average person, and let's talk about real estate developers, let's talk about commercial developers, let's talk about high-rise developers, and you can name all the big names you want to in town, and the majority of those people are developing, buying, holding, and selling real estate with none of their own money. It's all borrowed dollars. It's all stock dollars. It's money that they haven't even raised themselves personally.
One of the most interesting deals that my wife and I did was about 7 years ago. We purchased a property. Again, it was an undervalued property, and I recognize that I make my money when I buy that property. It was an estate sale. We approached the vendor, and they financed the purchase by way of a first mortgage. We went to my bank. The bank arranged part of the down payment. They also arranged a second loan to renovate that property. And to make the situation all the more perfect, the bank manager of that branch bought that house from me. He sold it 2 years later and made $30,000.
Well, I think the average renter today should look into these no money techniques, these no money down techniques, because they're going to continue paying rent for the rest of their lives. But if they're able to purchase a property with no money down and live in it, and if they can pay the rent, they can pay the mortgage, and it's one sure way of them accumulating some wealth and achieve their dreams sometime down the road.
So 4.5 years ago, I started in real estate. I bought my first piece of property, which was a luxury townhouse with 2,000 square feet with all the toys and 6 appliances, broadloom, air conditioning, 4 washrooms and everything, on a bankruptcy from an Air Canada pilot. And I bought that property for $71,000. I rented that property out to very select renters, and I started at that point in time. Since that point in time, I've put together 7 properties in 4.5 years. The latest group of properties being very expensive condominiums that are aimed strictly for the executive travel group. These are $250,000, $300,000 condominiums on Queens Quay. What we do not put a down payment on the property while it's under construction. We use a letter of credit. And a letter of credit is the principal instrument by the main 5 banks for giving you credit for 2% instead of 10% or 20% down to hold that property. We then, in turn, when the property is constructed, have in the back of our pockets a lease from a large multinational who in turn is transferring executives to and from this country. Those leases yield anywhere from $3,500 to $4,000 per month. Therefore, you finance out of that property, and you put in your pocket approximately $25,000 to $50,000 per transaction.
So it seems that just about everyone with the proper training can reach just about any goal they set for themselves. But it does take skill and know-how.
I find a common characteristic between the large developer and the small
investor, both of whom are successful, is their market knowledge, their preparation of the aspects that go into buying, into selling, into maintaining, into renovating, into developing that particular piece of real estate. And the more preparation, usually, the better the success.
Financing a house purchase is extremely expensive. There are ways of reducing the cost of financing that purchase. And what I've tried to do, and why I've been called the mortgage magician, is to show people very simple ways to make some of those interest costs disappear.
We have in the marketplace today a new name that's been surfacing in the recent past and up to date. It's called equity sharing. Equity sharing is literally nothing new. It's what we used to call joint ventures, where we had one person who couldn't afford to buy a house or couldn't afford to have the down payment or didn't have saved the down payment, and some other person, an investor, bought the house, and they bought the house from the investor over a period of time with co-ownership. Now that has come down for a period of time now. We now call it equity sharing. Equity sharing is going to be the thing of the future in buying real estate. The reason for this is because we have such a major housing shortage right now, and we have a tremendous amount of renters in the marketplace. And we have also something else that's defeating an awful lot of people in the marketplace, and that's called the economics of our times. I have taken survey after survey, and we have an age group right now in the United States of America, and we have it in Canada, and we have it in Australia. These are not unknown factors. We have people in the age group between 35 and 40. And this age group right on down, they work hard, they're married, they have good jobs, but they cannot make enough money and maintain their lifestyle and save enough money to buy a home. So these people are becoming what we call professional renters. Now we have on the other side of the coin out here people who can buy property. They have the entrepreneur quality, and they're buying property and investing in property. So we're now saying, why don't we put these two people together?
What's important for people to realize is that when they negotiate a mortgage loan, they should never go into a bank or trust company, any financial institution, cap in hand. If they know what the property requirements are, if they know what the income requirements are, they can pre-qualify themselves, and then the question becomes not whether they're going to get a mortgage loan, but which lender is going to give it to them.
The marketplace that I've been watching here in Canada the past several months is one that is becoming very active insofar as developers purchasing land to develop in the future, whether that future is 1, 2, or 3 years away. There's a great deal of activity in the marketplace to provide an inventory, to have an inventory in anticipation of a good marketplace.
Oh, I'd be very happy if people bought my book, implemented the ideas, and then took their savings and went out and bought property, bought real estate. There's nothing to stop them from saying, I've made a lot of money, saved a lot of money, now I'm going to do something with that money, but armed with all the knowledge that I've picked up.
When we return, we'll hear some important investment tips from some of North America's top real estate experts.
You know what the difference is between a millionaire like Ed Beckley and you? Knowledge. If you knew what Ed knows, you'd be a millionaire too. 11 years ago, Ed learned the hard way by learning from his mistakes. You don't have to learn that way. Now you can benefit from all of his years of experience. Ed has distilled all of his money-making secrets into his best-selling Millionaire Maker No Down Payment Home Study course. It's knowledge that's powerful, not position, not upbringing, not even age. For example, Rodney Warner wrote to us, "Since your seminar last month, I have purchased a 5-plex with a positive cash flow. I'm living free in it and paid nothing down. I also bought a single-family home which I sold while in escrow and made $5,000. I have no tenant problems and I'm eternally grateful to you. P.S. I'm only 19. You don't even need a job, cash, or credit. David Forrester of Houston, Texas wrote, "Since taking the course 4 months ago, I have purchased 11 pieces of rental property. I've done it all with no money from my pocket, with absolutely no personal credit. I would say that the Beckley course was the turning point of my life. These powerful no money down techniques can work for you too. And now's the time to make it happen with the Millionaire Maker's Home Study course. Ed's 200-page manual and 15 hours of audio cassettes revealing over 100 ways to buy real estate without cash, credit, or even a job. Retire comfortably in 3 to 5 years, working the equivalent of 1 weekend per month. Pay 0 income taxes legally and safely. Get 6 to 10% loans. And 20 ways to develop positive cash flow immediately. And much, much more. And remember, you'll also receive Ed's best-selling No Down Payment Formulas book. And there's more. This indispensable guide to writing offers 125 irresistible purchase offers, giving you the contracts to make dozens of no down payment deals that mean money in your pocket. It's an incredible television offer. The 15 hours of cassettes, the 200-page manual, the best-selling book, and the 125 irresistible offers. Thousands of people have paid over $600 for these money-making secrets.
And yet, in this special television offer, it can be yours for only $395.
If you're not completely satisfied, Ed will buy back your course. His special money-back guarantee is not for 10 days, not even 30 days, but for an incredible 6 months. Don't miss this very special television offer. And if you order right now and use your credit card, you'll not only save COD charges, but you'll also receive this exclusive bonus absolutely free, Ed's Equity Participation Workbook, detailing 4 proven and powerful equity sharing techniques that cost $8,000 to develop. But it's yours absolutely free if you order now. Don't miss this opportunity of a lifetime. Call now.
To order, call free, 1-800-526-8000, extension 8120. That's 1-800-526-8000, extension 8120. All major credit cards and CODs accepted, or send your check or money order to Beckley Business Seminar, Station A, Post Office Box 9980, Department 102, Toronto, Ontario, M5W2J2. That's Station A, Post Office Box 9980, Department 102, Toronto, Ontario.
Where does the average person begin? Some people just seem to have a certain knack, a special ability. Can it be learned? Yes. That's the overwhelming conclusion of the experts. But where? In our regular schools?
We are raising a nation of financial illiterates, and we have to teach them about money. You say, well, it's not as important as other things. There are certain areas where there's nothing else will do. See, money is not evil. It's the misuse of money that is evil. It builds your schools and your hospitals and buys you food and clothing. So we must teach people about money so they can be good stewards of it. Or if we do not, we will destroy their lives. Here, we teach them how to enjoy music, how to earn a living, all of these things. Yet the thing that they must have in order to live in our society is a knowledge of how to handle money.
So I'm not real bright. I didn't make a lot of, I didn't have money to start with, but I learned from some very smart people, some very simple, basic steps that almost anybody can follow. And there are people today out sharing that knowledge with other people so that you can learn specific steps to gain financial independence.
When I got out of school, the application that they taught me in school as far as the business courses that I even took, which would be the closest application to money, were still not in line with reality when I got out on the street. I felt that if it wasn't for my innate or the way my father taught me, I would not have been able to survive based upon my schooling.
In any situation, we've been trained that here is a question and that there's one answer. That's the whole school system is set up to, there is an answer to this problem. There's one answer, the teacher's answer, and if you don't guess what it is, you're wrong and you'll flunk. Well, in fact, most questions in this world have a lot of answers. There is no one right answer. A lot of different answers will work. My goodness, look at all the theories that I was taught with gospel. I mean, these are theories of physics, and these were immutable, and now they've all been disproven. The physics course that I had 40 years ago is obsolete today. All that knowledge was wrong.
Even the schools today aren't teaching them how to read and write and handle arithmetic, and one of the problems we have in hiring people, since we hire most of the new people coming in the labor market, is their lack of skills in reading and writing and arithmetic. So that's one place we need to improve, the educational system in this country. How can you go into a business if you can't even work for a business? You have to start and you have to have those 3 basic skills. And coupled with it, then you better have a pretty good understanding of money and credit and the word plastic. Because the fact is that it's a brand new world out there, and I think that if you can't understand money and handling your own budget, how can you handle a budget for a business?
The educational system has difficulty teaching creativity. It's a very nebulous thing. They want to teach the scientific method, and they go through, and literally very few things are developed by the scientific method. That's the bureaucrat's technique. And the truly creative person, the kid that comes in with a creative answer, probably will be punished. And they learn, no, always give the trite answer. Don't give the imaginative answer.
There's no question that most of us need help if we are to secure our future. But where do you go to learn? Sometimes it can be found in a formal educational setting, or it could simply be a weekend seminar. For many working people, the option to take up formal schooling just doesn't exist. But what does make sense are night courses and weekend seminars that focus in on the methods and ways to achieve specific goals. Experts and successful investors agree that the key is getting specialized knowledge and getting it to work for you.
I would say that the key to success in investing in real estate has to come through knowledge. It has to come through being able to identify an opportunity and what to do with that opportunity. To that end, I think that a seminar that can in fact educate a person to make him aware of these opportunities is in fact a good thing. It doesn't come to you in a dream.
You know, the knowledge today to accumulate great wealth in real estate are available to the average Canadian out there today through some of these real estate seminars that they are advertising all over North America. And I wish that that kind of seminar had been available to me 10 years ago when I was first starting out to accumulate real estate, because I could have taken a lot of shortcuts and perhaps learned a lot of things that a lot of the mistakes that perhaps I made along the way I would not have made through having the knowledge through some of these seminars. And I think that they're the way to go for the average Canadian. The average Canadian can get in there, go take one of these seminars or courses, and learn so much in a short space of time that's going to save them so much in aggravation and everything else, and they can be well on their way to accumulating wealth in, as I said, a very short space of time.
Well, somebody like me could do it with no education, no job training, no experience of any kind. And I don't consider myself a very bright person. But I'm succeeding at real estate, and it's the first time I've had a bank statement that made any sense to a banker, and my banker's smiling at me, and my credit rating is fixed. And I'm buying real estate. I'm in better financial shape than I've been ever in 10 years. And it's all because of real estate.
9 months ago in February of 1985, we took a nothing down real estate course on how to buy nothing down. And we... Property. And we started buying property. And it was very exciting in real estate. And we knew real estate was the investment vehicle, but we didn't know how to do it.
We didn't know the proper techniques.
Right. So by taking this course, we learned a lot of things about financing, how to make offers and how to negotiate with all kinds of strangers and talk to bank managers and talk to lawyers and not be scared of how to deal and be creative in our purchases.
You know, there are many, many techniques for buying real estate. Pick out those techniques, utilize them, and you'll find that you can get into the real estate game for yourself.
Definitely with myself, and I can relate this with a lot of people, is when I was younger, I set a lot of goals, and when I grew up, I was going to do all these things, and then once I started working, you tend to get a little off target with those, and you know, the facts of life sort of set in, and you realize that the paycheck-to-paycheck existence is more or less what you're going to settle for. And having got off target, I was looking for that way of getting back on target. Now, after taking the seminar, that there is a definite plan I have set down for my life. The goals have been renewed. I've got a plan of attack for that, and I feel much more confident in control of my life. And that's, you know, through the benefit of, I feel, accomplishing my investments in real estate and working towards eventually financial independence, and, you know, for now even supplementing my income with the job I have.
Some folks say, I don't have any money, I can't buy property. Is that a good excuse? No, that's why you're here. That's not a good excuse. Or I don't have any credit, or I don't want management headaches, or I don't want negative cash flows.
I've made several $1 million in real estate, and I accomplished it by buying pieces of land on options. But I wasn't always a millionaire. I had worked for several other companies, found that there was really no security in working for others, and chose to break out on my own. I chose to do that by buying the options on property and then eventually building houses on them.
I think real estate is fantastic. What I've learned here today only expedites what I've already been doing in the marketplace, and it refines my belief that it's the finest avenue for creating a wealth there is in the future. I've enjoyed the seminar, and I've enjoyed in starting a library with excellent information to save some of the aggravation I've had in the past.
Recently, Ed Beckley joined Hal Morris on his television show, Money, Money, Money. And here's what happened.
I heard you making a statement outside before this program started that I would kind of like to challenge you to. Tell the people what the statement was that I overheard you make.
Well, basically, I believe I could take anybody in any station in life and take them out there with a little training by myself, a couple of days, and within just a very few amount of days, 2 or 3 days, they could go out and buy a piece of property for nothing down. And I'm talking about taking somebody that has no cash, credit, or even a job.
Yeah, I was unemployed for a while, and then I met Ed, and he suggested that I could go out and buy a piece of property with no money down. And we went out and looked at this piece of property, and sure enough, with no money down and a positive cash flow. Now, I was really excited. I didn't think that that could ever happen, but I am the owner of this property.
When we started this program, we spoke of a changing world in which it's becoming our personal responsibility to achieve financial independence. You've since heard a variety of experts who not only say freedom should be achieved, they say it can be achieved. And there are no barriers except the fear of taking that first step. And as the Chinese proverb reminds us, even the longest journey begins with a single step. We've also learned that this is not a venture that must be taken alone. Thousands of people are exploring new opportunities and business options. Many of them are actively seeking a better life by acquiring real estate. It could be their first home or perhaps a series of income-producing properties. It doesn't matter where you begin. It matters that you do begin. That is what financial experts say time and time again. You must begin. For some, it will be a quick road to financial success, while for others, it will be a long-term approach to a secure and financially rewarding retirement.
Everyone has the obligation to not be poor. Everyone has the obligation to be financially independent. Now, don't confuse obligations and goals. Goals can be to have a nice home and a boat and all those can. You have an obligation to take care of yourself for as long as you're on the face of this earth. You owe it to your fellow man, your fellow taxpayer. You owe it to yourself.
I used to be a high school teacher, and I used to train people to go out into the job market and hopefully become financially secure. But that just wasn't true. I trained people for financial oblivion. The biggest myth in our society today is to grow up, get a good education, and then go out and get a job and you'll be financially secure. That's financial insecurity today. In order to be secure today, you've got to find some kind of investment vehicle for yourself and your family, and you've got to do it now.
I started in the real estate business just simply to supplement my income, and a lot of people do that, and you can do it at any age. But after your supplemental income starts making you more money than your full-time job, then you can just quit.
We can make money investing in real estate today, whether the interest rates are high or whether they're low. It doesn't matter about those factors. What really matters is, number one, your attitude, and number two, going out and getting the appropriate strategies that work in the 1980s.
I grew up in a home in which my parents never ever owned the house that we lived in. And so I looked around at all the men that lived on our block, and the parents, the fathers, when they got home at night, no one could work harder than they did. They would have sweat pouring off their brow, and they would plop in that chair and get that can of beer. And I discovered at a very early age that hard work does not necessarily equate to financial success, that the real key is from the neck on up.
Losers always blame somebody else for their troubles. One of the earmarks to spot a loser is ask them, well, how come things didn't go right for you there? The winner says, well, I messed up. I didn't do it right. I misjudged, and they take full responsibility. A loser will always blame somebody else. It's never his fault. You got to work hard and develop yourself to be a winner. And then you've got to study winners and associate with them and learn how to win. In any game, I remember when I was in high school, a big breakthrough for me that when I saw this, I was sitting on the bench, and in Indiana, if you weren't a basketball star, you were nothing. And I wanted to be a player, and I wasn't. And I sat down, and pretty soon it dawned on me what it took to be a basketball star. It took the ball. You had to go get the ball.
Money never disappears. It only changes hands. What's really vital for all people to understand is to go out and get the know-how, because the money changes hands from the people who aren't smart to the people who are smart.
We'll be back to wrap up financial independence in Canada after this important announcement.
In your lifetime, odds are you'll work 80,000 hours, making someone else rich. And when it comes time to retire, 95 out of 100 of you and your neighbors will have less than $500 in your pockets. Ed Beckley believes it's time for you to stop working for somebody else's dreams and make your own come true. He did it. You can too. Starting as a school teacher, making only $8,700 a year and with no credit, Ed made $2 million in less than 3 years by investing in real estate with no money down. You can do it too. Don't waste another day wishing you had money. Get this course, Ed's best-selling Millionaire Maker No Down Payment Home Study course. In this simple yet powerful course, you will receive over 15 hours of Ed on audio cassette, talking directly to you while revealing all of his money-making secrets. Then Ed will take you step by step through his attractively bound 200-page instruction manual. The enclosed charts, checklists, and nothing down offer forms will teach you 120 formulas to easily and systematically create real estate riches, showing you over 100 ways to buy real estate without cash, credit, or even a job. You'll learn how to make up to $500,000 buying foreclosures in the next 3 years. Buy property using 10 different ways that put cash in your pocket. Buy a house for $1. Make $3,000 per month within 90 days following the course. Eliminate management problems forever, and much, much more. But wait, that isn't all. You will also receive Ed's best-selling book, No Down Payment Formulas. And there's more. Ed's latest book, 125 Irresistible Purchase Offers. This easy-to-use book gives you a sample purchase offer to close virtually any deal. All this comes complete with Ed's unique 6-month money-back guarantee. That's right, you heard me, a 6-month money-back guarantee. Don't miss this special television offer. Thousands of people have paid over $600 for these money-making secrets.
It can be yours for only $395.
And if you order right now and use your credit card, you'll not only save COD charges, but you'll also receive this exclusive bonus absolutely free, Ed's Equity Participation Workbook, covering the nuts and bolts of one of the most powerful home buying techniques of the 80s. It features 4 equity sharing arrangements: the KISS agreement, the co-tenancy agreement, the lease option agreement, and the agreement of home partnership. This workbook costs over $8,000 in attorney fees to develop, but it's yours absolutely free if you order now. Don't miss this opportunity of a lifetime. Call now.
To order, call free, 1-800-526-8000, extension 8120. That's 1-800-526-8000, extension 8120. All major credit cards and CODs accepted, or send your check or money order to Beckley Business Seminar, Station A, Post Office Box 9980, Department 102, Toronto, Ontario, M5W 2J2. That's Station A, Post Office Box 9980, Department 102, Toronto, Ontario.
Whatever your personal goals, there are people willing to help you meet them. But the first step is yours, and only yours.
I think if a person wants to become successful, that is the first thing to start with, is that one must really have a conviction from inside one's own heart and mind that they want to be successful. That is the basic, that is the basis. Otherwise, if you're unsure, if you feel, well, I want this, but maybe I want something else, then you're going to be divided. You're not going to be clear-cut in your goals. So the first thing is, have that feeling that I want to be successful. I want my goal, and have that goal very clear-cut. And then, once you have that conviction inside, then plunge in. Don't think defeat. If you come across some hurdle or some obstacle in your way, don't think defeat, because if you think defeat, that's what you'll get. You'll find you'll be defeated, and you'll defeat yourself. You'll defeat your very self. So, first of all, just have that feeling of success, that you want to go ahead. And once you have that, then go after your goal, and don't let anything stop you. Don't let anything stand in your way.
I've had no previous real estate experience, but after taking the first day of the 2-day seminar that I was able to go last night, I made several calls, And out of those calls, I was able to schedule 2 appointments for Tuesday and Wednesday of next week, which I am very excited to go out and see what the properties are with the tools and techniques I feel I have, and to be able for us both to win, both the buyer and the seller.
When I leave the seminar, I have no doubt in my mind that I should be able to go out and purchase a house or more than one with no money down.
Well, I feel that by the time I reach the age of 65, there ain't going to be no money left in that government bucket, so I'm going to have to use real estate, or I can do it with real estate and be able to support myself quite comfortably.
Right now, as we begin moving out of the latest recession, you're going to begin seeing house values increase all across the country. So your property may begin increasing in value again. It's very typical when we're in a recession, and during a recessionary period, that house prices stagnate. Right now, as we move out of this recession into an expansion period, house prices begin gathering momentum. And typically, at the latter stages of the expansion, they begin moving much more rapidly.
Now that I've taken the seminar, I'm going out tomorrow, and I'm going to buy myself a house.
3 of us started in a 160 square foot office. That's a very small office. 3 guys, 3 desks, 3 telephones in 160 square feet. 1 year later, we've done $125 million worth of business. And now I've got a bigger office than I ever imagined. The thing is, anybody can do it. Just get out there and do it. Just go for it.